What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dream a Little, the podcast that's all about helping you feel confident about your ABDL side so that you can enjoy it with that special person in your life. I'm your host, Lo, and you can find me on Twitter at DaddyIWantThis. Today, we're going to be talking with Will, who identifies as an ABDL switch like myself. He's in a happy relationship with his boyfriend, who primarily identifies as a submissive pup. So today we're going to be learning about the similarities between pups and littles and how Will finds balance with his switch life desires. If you haven't already told your partner about ABDL because you're afraid of how they'll react, don't worry, I've got you. Download my free guidebook, Introduction to Coming Out ABDL. You can get it for free by going to thelittlelounge.com/120. As always, I'm going to link to that along with our guest's contact info in case you'd like to reach out to Will. Before we get started, I wanted to give a big shout out to Rob and Ryan, our brand new patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you didn't already know, TK and I have a brand new podcast called Dream a Little Bigger, where we talk all about our ABDL dynamic in depth and how we make it work. For only $5 per month, you'll get access to this new podcast, and you might even get a shout out on the show if you like. You can check it out at patreon.com/dreamalittle. I'll link to that in the show notes as well. You can find all the links mentioned in this episode at thelittlelounge.com/120. All right, I won't make you wait any longer. Let's just get started. What's going on, Will? Welcome to the show.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm really excited to get to know you better here. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you identify as within the community?
I consider myself a switch, but I'm mostly little, like probably 95% of the time, but I do have a little bit of switch in there. So,
well, that's an interesting combo. You know, with guys, I normally hear either the opposite, where they're a switch, but they're mostly having daddy tendencies, or they're one or the other. So that's really unique. I think that's super cool. So how long have you been interested in ABDL?
Well, like I tell everybody, it's always, I guess, but like I never really fully understood what it was until I got like probably around the age of 15 or 16 when I actually started looking it up on the internet and stuff. And it was just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not the only person.
Thank God for the internet, right?
Right. It's a miracle.
Seriously. So that's kind of a late start. Well, I mean, I guess you didn't really look into it until you were 15 or 16, but
right.
Do you remember being a child and kind of having these desires as well?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like, I've been caught, wearing multiple times when I was younger, but I guess they really didn't think anything about it. They're just like, whatever.
When you're a little kid, it's a little different than when you're an adult, probably. That hasn't happened to you, has it?
He's just playing dress up. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually how I got into it too. And I got caught. Well, actually, we didn't even get caught. It was me and my girlfriend playing together, and we just kind of were parading around the house in them. It was really fun.
Right. I mean, that does sound fun,
It was. And after that, I was like, hey, that's kind of nice. I kind of like that.
Right. It's convenient. You don't have to get up. It's great.
Exactly. So after you found out that you weren't the only one, did it instantly give you confidence and you were just like, okay, well, I have nothing to be ashamed about? Or did you still kind of struggle with feelings of a little bit insecurity? Because I know that's pretty common in the community.
I still struggled for a while. Honestly, not until about, I would say, a year and a half ago when I left my ex that I actually got pretty confident and fairly open. Because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to live my life as, somebody I'm not. I've been tossing back and forth my sexuality and finally just came out as pan. And that's one thing. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be me. And that's just what I'm going to do.
I love that. Do you mind if we talk about your last relationship real quick?
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure. Okay. Well, I was just wondering, how much about ABDL did your ex-girlfriend know? Or ex. Sorry, I don't know if it's ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend.
Ex-husband.
Ex-husband. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. We would need an entire another podcast to go over just him. But So I got with my ex, and when we first started talking, I just threw it out there at him. Like, because I was kind of like, you know what, I don't want to like hide this. So like probably the first day we talked, I kind of threw it at him like, hey, I like to wear diapers and this and that. And he was kind of okay with it at first, and then we tried it, and he was very like, no, we're not going to do this. This weirds me out. He was very emotionally abusive in the relationship. So like at first it was all like, oh, everything's great and fine. And then I know there at the end of the relationship, it was, oh, you're a pedophile because you want to do this. And, this isn't right. There's something wrong. Maybe, something happened to you in your childhood that makes you want to do this. Like it was rough. And that kind of pushed me after I had the courage to leave to be like, you know what? I'm going to be me, and I'm not going to let anybody stop.
Wow. That is really awesome that you're able to bounce back from it like that.
Yeah, and it's still a struggle on some things, but for the most part, it's like, you know what? I'm in a relationship now. It's a healthy relationship. He's not in the ABDL community. He considers himself a pup, so he is in the kink community, but he's not a part of the ABDL community. But at first it was kind of like, you can do it, I support it, but I don't really want to be involved in it. But now it's more of, oh, okay, go to bed every night padded and, all that stuff. And he doesn't mind me hanging out with other littles. And it's definitely a complete 360 from my last relationship.
I'm glad you found him. So
he's a great guy.
Are you into the pup side of things too, or how do you feel about some of his kinks?
I am completely accepting of his kinks. I consider myself his quote unquote sir. That's kind of where the switch comes into play.
Right.
I don't do it a lot. He doesn't really do the pup thing a lot. But he, when he does, I become more of that dominant role for him. But, sometimes I'll little out and he'll pup out and we'll just hang out together, and it's, a good old time.
Would you agree that there's some similarities and crossover between pups and littles?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. It is. And I know at least 2 where I live that are pups and littles. I mean, it's such a cross between the two, and they interact so much. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, I just bring that up because my fiance does not identify as a little at all, but he kind of has a pup side to him. So I get my mommy fix a little bit sometimes. It's not the same. There's definitely differences, but the playfulness, mostly the playfulness, I think.
Yeah, super playful. It's always fun, and it's always fun to kind of be a little dominant with him too. So
yeah. So is he a switch as well?
No, he's mostly submissive. So he's not, and I feel like that's probably why he's kind of standoffish to the whole little thing, because he's afraid that like if he tries to be dominant, it's not gonna I guess work.
It just doesn't come naturally to him, probably.
Right. Like every once in a while, he'll get like a wild hair to where he'll kind of get dominant, or I'll be asleep and I'd had like a long day or something, and he'll put me in a diaper. But it's every once in a while. But I'm definitely appreciative of those times, and I make sure I let him know.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you balance being a switch with someone who's strictly a sub?
It's interesting. Some days are harder than most, because some days I just want to come home and just, be a little, and that's it. But we somehow managed to make it work. I don't really know how to describe it. It just kind of comes naturally, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of fluid in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
My fiance and I actually have the opposite problem, where we both like to play big. So
Really?
but that's still a problem for some people. That's the dream. It's like, oh, I wish my partner would do that, like what you have a little bit, But either one of the extremes probably isn't the best ideal situation.
Right. Either 2 people trying to tell each other what to do, or 2 people are like, I don't want to do anything.
Exactly. So we kind of have a compromise where, sometimes maybe I don't want to play little, but I will. I'll acquiesce and I'll do it. And sometimes he might not want to, but he'll play along with the role. But we also have an interesting dynamic where we can kind of play with others. So do you guys have an agreement like that at all?
Somewhat, yes. I have some little friends here, especially two in particular. It's him and his daddy. I go over there at least once a week, and his daddy, changes me and all that good stuff. My boyfriend is, completely comfortable with that, and it takes a lot of trust. He was very iffy about it at first, but he went over there and hung out with them, and became friends with them as well. And just, he's like, you know what, I trust them. I know nothing other than that's going to happen, nothing sexually or, whatever. But we have that level of trust to where he's comfortable with it now. And I think it kind of balances itself out there.
That's great because, you have needs that maybe he's not really willing or doesn't want to fulfill. And it's nice that you can have someone that you trust to kind of fulfill those needs without, interfering or making your partner jealous.
Right. And that's the main thing. That's what he said. He said, there's stuff that I won't do that, they're willing to do, and I trust them. So he kind of, he's comfortable with it.
That's exactly the conversation that me and TK had as well. So where are you meeting all these kinky people? I mean, most people can't even say that they have one ABDL friend, and it sounds like you've got a whole group going on. Tell me your secret.
Got a gaggle of littles over here.
You do.
Mostly, I would say I've met a few on FetLife. The ones that I'm really good friends with, him and his daddy, I met them on, he originally wrote me on, I think it was Diaper Boys or FetLife, one of the two, when I first moved here. And I never replied back, and then ended up writing him on another thing. And then I'm like, wait.
Oh, he already messaged me.
Right. And we just became instant friends after that. But most of it's, I say FetLife.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So are you pretty active on FetLife? I feel like some people might struggle with, sending that first message and kind of connecting with other people, but they also might be the type who they don't have an avatar picture or any descriptions. Right. So do you have like a full-on filled out profile?
For the most part, I got some pictures on there. Can't remember if I have anything in my bio or not, but I mean, it's a fairly detailed profile. It shows where I live, but most of the time I'm probably on Instagram, and I've just started getting a little bit more active on Twitter after the whole, Tumblr thing.
Yeah.
But most of my stuff now is going to be on Instagram. I'm fairly active on Instagram.
Okay, cool. Have you met anyone through that platform, or is it just mostly FetLife then?
Mostly FetLife was meeting people where I'm at. I've met a few people on Instagram, but it's, just over the internet type stuff.
Yeah. So I'm not on FetLife myself, but things that I've heard about FetLife are that it's best for hearing about events and going to events and then exchanging contact info in person. But I don't know if that's true or not. Is that your experience?
Well, I'm not super big on like going to events. Like I've gone to like the Little Scouts here a few times. I have slight social anxiety, so like going out with a group, like meet a new group of people is kind of anxious, makes me anxious.
Yeah.
So like I'm better with like talking to them online and then meeting one-on-one in person and being like, oh, okay, yeah, they're cool, and then that's how I become friends with them. But like I said, I've been to the Little Scouts here, and it's a super great thing if anybody wants to, maybe meet up with their local, Little Scouts or whatever it may be. It's super great. The one here is super accommodating, great people. It's definitely a really good resource for people to meet people.
I've never heard of Little Scouts before. This is the first time I've heard of it. Yeah. Is it only a local thing where you are, or is it all over the U.S.? I
feel like there's some around the U.S. I don't know how widespread it is, but I know there's one here, and it's not a lot of people that go, but there's probably 10 or 15 people that go, and they're all super nice people. You probably find them on FetLife. Just search for like Little Scouts, and it may pull up something in your area. I'm not entirely sure how that works.
Well, that's cool. So what goes on at these Little Scout events?
It just depends. The last one I went to was around Thanksgiving, and we made like animals out of pine cones. So like they have like arts and crafts, or like, they'll go out and do something for the community, or, go to like maybe the zoo. just little fun stuff to do, and just kind of like, get the community together. So like all the littles and people in the community can kind of meet, and also sometimes do stuff back for the non-kink community as well.
That's really cool. So like volunteer work?
Right. Like, maybe go and, I don't know, pick up trash on the side of the road, or, plant trees for, I believe it's Earth Day where you plant trees, just get out and do something. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I'm so excited. I've never heard of anything like that. That is really cool. And I've been wanting to get more into volunteering. What a great idea.
It really is. It's a super good idea.
That's awesome. So it sounds like during these events, you're in pretty public places. So I guess I would just wonder, like, are people like actually dressed up in ABDL stuff for this?
Not really. I know the one here, they have it at our local BDSM club.
Oh,
and like,
cool.
if you go there, you can't, like, they have a rule that you can't wear diapers there, which is silly to me, but it's the rules. So, but I feel like if you go out in public, you just kind of wear, whatever. I mean,
What
I guess
if you're
if you
incontinent?
Right. That was what I was thinking. I guess they couldn't, if you were incontinent, they can't tell you anything, but.
Oh, do they mean like in plain sight, basically, or?
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Right. I figure if you have it covered, nobody's going to be like, are you wearing a diaper? Are you wearing a diaper?
They don't have like one of those like little metal detectors, but for diapers that you walk through.
Right.
Like an X-ray machine.
Right. Get patted down at the door. You're like, nope, you got to leave.
We got a padded one here.
Right. This one's doubled up. And you're not.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Wow, that is so cool. I'll have to look into Little Scouts. I mean, I might join FetLife just to learn about those events. Sounds awesome.
Might as well.
Well, Will, it was really nice getting to know you. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing a bit about yourself.
Oh, you're welcome. It was good to be on the show.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, bye.
Bye.